This is the problem, lad. A lot of the celebrities, they have a voice. They do their music. What people don't realize, when you have a beef, these are real street guys. I will still pull up and spray and do what I got to do. You know, Big Jook, you know, he did troll Young Dolph people. You know, y'all, he laughed. The man was, you know, telling them, I'm going to pay y'all bill. I know y'all. So now you testing these guys' manhood. Just because the world don't see them, but the homies, the people in the hood see them. So all it takes is one step or one real dude to be like, man, what's that? Y'all ain't gonna pull up and handle y'all business? And the way they doing now, man, they look, I'm scared of them, black. And I'm from the street. That's why I stay out the way, bro. I travel, I be out the way, man, because these little youngsters ain't playing.
Y'all want to know the real reason Big Jook got killed? He was lazy. Yeah, I said it. Nigga lazy. He ain't finished the job, man. You know, you can't just get rid of one piece and not get rid of the rest of the pieces. Yeah, and that's not it. He's seen it coming. There's other stuff that happened here recently. If you know what I'm saying, look around, you'll see certain people saying certain things. And, you know, you put two and two together. But, yeah, condolences. Is what it is, though.
He wasn't leaving a club. He wasn't leaving a studio. He was leaving a funeral. On January 13th, 2024, shots rang out in broad daylight in Memphis. Within minutes, Anthony Big Jook Mims, the older brother of hip-hop mogul Yo Gotti, was lying on the pavement outside Perignon's restaurant, bleeding after attending a repast for a fallen family member. And just like that, one of the most powerful behind-the-scenes figures in Memphis rap was gone. But here's where things get uncomfortable. Big Jook wasn't just a brother, he wasn't just an executive at Collective Music Group. His name had recently surfaced in explosive courtroom testimony connected to the 2021 murder of Young Dolph. During trial proceedings, a convicted gunman claimed a $100,000 bounty had allegedly been placed on Dolph, and that Big Jook was involved. And no charges were ever filed against him, no indictment, just allegations spoken under oath. Then months before the full legal dust could settle, Big Jook was shot and killed. No arrests, no suspects publicly named, no official motive confirmed. And the streets immediately started whispering one word: retaliation. Now viral videos are claiming revenge was taken. Social media posts are being dissected like coded messages. Fans are picking sides. Bloggers are drawing lines between dots that may or may not connect. So what really happened? Was Big Jook's death random? Was it payback? Or is this another tragic chapter in a Memphis war that's been building for nearly a decade? Because when funerals turn into crime scenes, you know the story is deeper than headlines. Before the headlines, before the courtroom drama, before the gunshots, there were two brothers building something powerful in Memphis. Yo Gotti was the face, the voice, the hitmaker. By the mid-2000s, he had turned Collective Music Group, better known as CMG, into one of the South's most respected labels. Platinum plaques, billboard placements, major distribution deals. But behind that spotlight stood Anthony Big Jook Mims. Big Jook wasn't the rapper. He wasn't the one doing interviews or posting flashy freestyles. He operated differently. As an executive and project manager inside CMG, he handled logistics, relationships, and street connections that kept the machine running smoothly. Artists like Moneybagg Yo, Glorilla, and ESTG became national names under the CMG umbrella. That growth wasn't accidental. Memphis has always been competitive, territorial, loyal to its own. When CMG started dominating locally and expanding nationally, it shifted the city's power structure. Some saw it as inspiration. Others saw it as control. Big Jook's role made him influential without being visible. He wasn't on stage, but he had reach. In a city where reputation travels faster than press releases, that kind of quiet authority matters. And with power comes tension. Because Memphis rap wasn't just about music, it was about identity, about who truly represented the city, about who wore the crown. And that crown was about to be challenged. When one rising star refused to sign and decided to build his own kingdom instead, that's when business turned personal. Here's where everything shifts. Around 2014 to 2015, Young Dolph was rising fast. Independent, loud, unapologetic. His paper route empire brand was gaining traction without major label backing. That alone made him different. At the time, Yo Gotti and CMG were already established. The story widely discussed in Memphis circles is that Gotti approached Dolph about joining CMG. Dolph declined. Not publicly disrespectful, not dramatic, just no. But in hip-hop, especially in a city like Memphis, a rejection like that carries weight. Then 2016 happened. Dolph dropped his debut album King of Memphis on the exact same day Gotti released The Art of Hustle. That wasn't random. That was positioning. Dolph wasn't just building independently, he was claiming the throne. The tension turned louder in 2017. Dolph released Play With Yo B, a diss record that mocked Gotti and took shots that many believed were aimed at Big Jook as well. The music video featured a Gotti lookalike being humiliated. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't playful, it was direct. In interviews, Dolph made it clear he didn't respect certain moves in the industry. He framed himself as self-made, untouchable, not controlled by Memphis power structures. At this point, the rivalry wasn't just about contracts, it was about pride. Who runs Memphis? Who's authentic? Who's really the king? And once ego enters the equation, it rarely cools down quietly. Because after the diss track stopped trending, the gunfire started making headlines. Rap beef is loud, but bullets are louder. In early 2017, the tension surrounding Young Dolph stopped being lyrical and started becoming physical. In February of that year, Dolph's bulletproof SUV was sprayed with more than 100 rounds in Charlotte, North Carolina. But the vehicle was destroyed. Dolph walked away unharmed. He even performed later that night. The incident turned into fuel for his album Bulletproof and the track 100 Shots, where he mocked the failed attempt. The streets saw it as escalation. Months later, in September 2017, Dolph was shot multiple times outside a hotel in Los Angeles. At the time, Yo Gotti was reportedly staying at the same location. No charges stuck. No direct link was legally established. But the timing fed speculation. Each survival added tension. Dolph wasn't backing down. He kept releasing music, kept referencing enemies, kept moving confidently. Publicly, he treated the attempts like proof of his resilience. Privately, no one really knows. But what's clear is that Memphis rap had shifted into something deeper than competition. It wasn't just about streaming numbers or chart placements anymore. It felt personal. Allegations would later surface in court that Big Jook was frustrated by the ongoing disrespect and perceived threats to CMG's dominance. None of those claims were proven against him in a court of law. But the narrative was growing. And in Memphis, narratives carry weight. Because in November 2021, survival ran out. And what happened inside a small cookie shop would shake the city forever. November 17th, 2021. Young Dolph pulled up to Makita's Cookies in South Memphis. It was the day before Thanksgiving. He was in town for his annual turkey giveaway, something he had done for years. No heavy security, no armored convoy, just a routine stop at a local bakery he loved. Then two men jumped out of a stolen white Mercedes. Here they opened fire through the storefront window. Dolph was hit 22 times. The attack was captured on surveillance cameras. Broad daylight, busy street. No masks hiding the violence from public view. Memphis didn't just hear about it, they saw it. The city went silent. Within weeks, police arrested Justin Johnson, known as Straight Drop, and Cornelius Smith. Prosecutors later described the killing as a paid hit. During trial proceedings in 2024, Smith testified that a $100,000 contract had allegedly been placed on Dolph. He claimed the order traced back to Big Jook. No charges were ever filed against Big Jook in connection with the murder. The allegations came solely through courtroom testimony. CMG denied wrongdoing. Yo Gotti was never charged. In September 2024, Johnson was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. The courtroom drama answered some questions, but not the biggest one. If the alleged money trail led upward, why was no one else indicted? Before those questions could fully develop, something unexpected happened. 9 months before the trial even began, the man accused of being behind the bounty was shot and killed himself. And that's where the story takes another turn. January 13th, 2024. Anthony Big Jook Mims had just attended a funeral for a family member in Memphis. After the service, loved ones gathered at Perignon's restaurant in Hickory Hill for the repast, the traditional meal after burial. Around 4:15 p.m., gunshots rang out in the parking lot. Police responding to the scene found Big Jook suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was rushed to the hospital and pronounced dead shortly after. A second person was injured but survived. Surveillance footage reportedly showed a white Ford Explorer with tinted windows speeding away from the scene. No arrests have been announced, no suspects publicly identified. The timing stunned the city. Just months earlier, courtroom testimony had alleged Big Jook played a role in the 2021 killing of Young Dolph. Those allegations were never formally charged against. Still, his name had entered the legal narrative. And now he was gone. One detail fueled even more speculation. The day before his death, Big Jook posted a message on social media that read, "They don't want to face you, they want to snake you. Stay alert, stay alive." 24 hours later, he was killed. The internet immediately drew conclusions. Some called it retaliation, others called it coincidence. No official motive has been confirmed by Memphis authorities. Yo Gotti has remained largely silent publicly about the investigation. What's clear is this: Memphis lost another high-profile figure, and the cycle felt like it was tightening. But the courtroom wasn't done speaking yet. Just months after Big Jook's death, the courtroom doors opened, and Memphis was forced to relive everything. In September 2024, the trial for the murder of Young Dolph began. The spotlight was on Justin Johnson, but the testimony quickly widened the frame. Cornelius Smith, one of the men involved in the shooting, took the stand. Facing life in prison, he chose to cooperate, and what he said changed the tone of the entire case. Smith testified that the killing was a paid contract worth $100,000, and he claimed that Big Jook was the one who allegedly put the money up. According to Smith, the plan was for the shooters to split $80,000, with the remaining portion going elsewhere. But then came another twist. Smith said he never received the promised payout. Instead of tens of thousands, he claimed he only got $800. The defense attacked his credibility immediately. They argued he was testifying to reduce his own sentence, that he had every incentive to shift blame upward. No financial records were introduced publicly tying Big Jook to a direct payment. No charges were filed against him before his death. Still, the damage was done. His name had now been spoken in open court, on record, under oath. Meanwhile, Yo Gotti was never charged and has not publicly addressed the testimony in detail. The verdict came down, and Johnson was convicted and sentenced to life. But for Memphis, the trial didn't close the book. It reopened wounds. And outside the courthouse, the internet started building a new story entirely. The moment Big Jook was killed, the internet did what it always does. It filled in the blanks. Within hours, social media timelines were flooded with theories. Some users claimed it was retaliation for the death of Young Dolph. Others said the streets had finally evened the score. Viral YouTube videos popped up claiming that Yo Gotti had already handled business in response. But here's the truth: there has been no official confirmation of retaliation from law enforcement. No public arrests connected to a revenge plot. No statements from prosecutors linking Big Jook's murder to the Dolph case directly. What exists is speculation. But after the trial testimony alleged Big Jook funded a bounty, many online assumed his death was connected. Cryptic posts from individuals associated with both camps were screenshotted and dissected like coded messages. Emojis were analyzed, song lyrics were treated like clues, but speculation isn't evidence. Memphis police have maintained that the investigation into Big Jook's murder remains open. As of the latest updates, no suspects have been publicly charged. The white Ford Explorer seen leaving the scene hasn't led to public arrests. At the same time, Yo Gotti has remained mostly silent. No explosive interviews, no social media rants, just business as usual. That silence has fueled even more theories. Some see it as smart legal strategy. Others read it as something deeper. But here's what's dangerous. When narrative replaces fact, myths form quickly. And in hip-hop culture, myths can last longer than court records. Which brings us to the bigger issue. Is this about revenge? Or is this about a cycle that refuses to break? Zoom out for a second, strip away the rumors, the social media captions, the YouTube thumbnails. What are we left with? Young Dolph is gone, Big Jook is gone, one man is serving life in prison, multiple families are shattered, and Memphis is still standing in the middle of it all. This wasn't just two rappers trading diss tracks. It turned into funerals, courtrooms, helicopters circling during burials, armed security at memorials, restaurants getting shot up, generations watching it unfold in real time. The feud between Dolph and Yo Gotti started as music competition. It evolved into ego, then territory, then something darker. By the time allegations of bounties entered the courtroom, the damage was already permanent. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Nobody really won. Dolph lost his life. Big Jook lost his life. Justin Johnson lost his freedom forever. Yo Gotti lost his brother. Even if every rumor of revenge were true, does it bring anyone back? Does it erase the grief, or does it just guarantee the next headline? Memphis has produced legends. It has shaped Southern hip-hop for decades, but it has also buried too many of its own. The hardest question isn't who pulled the trigger, it's this: how many more funerals does it take before someone decides enough is enough? Because right now, the cycle doesn't look like it's slowing down, and until it does, every victory feels temporary.